Welcome back to What's Your Drink, a podcast where we're talking to DC's top beverage and bar professionals, just talking about their favorite trends and their favorite drinks. So today's guest is Amy Dunki.
Yes.
All right, I got it right. That telemarketing job when I was 15 paid off. So why gin? Because gin is usually known as an old person's drink. So why gin? What brought you to gin and what brought you to bartending?
Wow, two really big questions. I ended up in the service industry, as a lot of us do, throughout school, and ended up really falling in love with it.
I did some time in the service industry.
I really fell in love with this ability to facilitate this raw human interaction at a restaurant, where it's this age-old thing that we do where we sit around and we eat together, but we put our phones away and we stop and we just talk to each other.
Yeah.
And that's something that was really beautiful, and being able to facilitate that was something that was really incredible to me. And then I had a bar manager who ironically is now my boss again, who introduced me to this whole beautiful nerdy world of cocktails and spirits, specifically by way of Amaros. Oh yeah.
Okay,
before and after.
So then why gin?
Gin, I love gin because it's already a cocktail almost on its own.
Yeah.
Because it's such an art form, the way that all of the different botanicals dance together once they have come through. Well, in this one we only actually use one botanical. Technically the bees have done all of that for us when we use the raw honey.
So there's honey in this?
Yes.
Okay.
Raw honey.
Raw honey. There's a difference. There's a difference. Prior to this, I've had Tomcat a couple of times in Negronis. It's one of my favorite drinks. I'm really into the classic cocktails for the past couple of years. And when I first had it, I chose it because it was brown.
Right.
And I was on a major whiskey kick at the time, but then I started, it's like, I like gin. I could do gin. I started out with Rickey's, then I moved into Negronis. And so I saw this, I was like, well, it's brown, so let's just see what it's about. And it gave the Negronis that I was drinking a whole new character. A whole new character, a whole new flavor. And I really appreciated that. And I appreciate the fact that Barr Hill took that chance,
right,
on doing something a little different with the grain drink. Y'all need more brand ambassadors? I think I can do this. Okay, so what brought you to Barr Hill?
I needed a change of pace.
Okay.
I love Vermont. I grew up there. I've lived there my entire life, and I've always really loved DC. I love the energy here. Everyone here is really nerdy.
There's definitely a lot of smart people in DC.
DC has this very unique aspect to it than other large cities in the country that I could have chosen to move to, because people move here, people move to other places because they want to be famous, because they want to be in movies, because they want to do this, that, and the other thing. But people move here because they want to affect positive change in the world around them.
They want to make a difference.
They want to make a difference. And that is something that is so beautiful, and something that is really intangible, and something that took me a really long time to realize about why I love this city and the people in it so much. But it's definitely a pervasive quality across the city.
And it's a very stressful mission to have, which is why all these bars and good liquor like Barr Hill is necessary.
Did you know that Washington, D.C. is #1 in the country for per capita hard liquor consumption?
I can believe that. I remember years ago I heard a stat that DC consumed the most Grand Marnier.
Really?
This was years ago. I was like, word, Grand Marnier? Whatever. But hard liquor, I can believe that. Started out in Vermont, came here, then Barr Hill came in the picture.
So I was volunteering with them. So I was doing various events with them. I did a couple of events at the Senate, and it wasn't until recently that they were looking for a brand ambassador in DC that the national sales manager called me and said, hey, I want you to come work for us. And so I said, okay.
Timing couldn't be better. So we've got these 3 varieties here. So we've got Barr Hill Gin, Barr Hill Tomcat Gin, and Barr Hill Vodka. I know you like to drink the Tomcat neat,
yes,
which I have right here, looking like whiskey.
Yes.
It is definitely not whiskey. It's definitely gin. I'm getting the juniper. I'm getting all of that. Okay, let's talk about the cocktail that we have in front of us here. So we move this around here. And so this is?
This is one of AJ's concoction. This is called Don't Kill My Buzz.
Okay, Don't Kill My Buzz. All right, so what are we working with it in the Don't Kill My Buzz?
So this is a Bees Knees variation with the Tomcat.
Okay, so a standard Bees Knees consists of?
gin, lemon, and honey.
Gin, lemon,
Shaken
and honey.
up in a coupe.
Shaken up in a coupe glass. Okay. The variation here with the Don't Kill My Buzz would be.
So she uses fire water in order to, and uses raw honey as well.
Okay.
So because she uses the raw honey that isn't diluted at all with water, you need something to kind of like brace back. So all classic cocktails are essentially perfect as they are. When you make a variation, when you change one thing, so when you add in the Tomcat, you need to change something else. Whatever it's adding or it's being taken away, you need to balance that out. And yeah, so she did a beautiful job.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks great. And so speaking of just like, doing a variation of a cocktail, so, you have the Martinez.
Yes.
So people know Martinis, people know Manhattans.
Yes.
So the Martinez takes elements of both of those to make its own creation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So which elements of the Martini and the Manhattan do a Martinez take to make it?
The Martinez is actually the grandfather to the Martini. The definition of Old Time Gin is just it's gin that has some kind of sweetener added to it. In the 1750s, they actually banned gin. So, yeah.
Okay.
So the Tomcat is actually named after this black cat that they would put on the side of pubs, and you would put a penny in it, and they would pour Tomcat gin through this little tube that came out through the cat's paws. And that was how you would do it.
Do you know why they banned gin?
They were banning the gin because people were going crazy. People were going blind because they weren't making it correctly, which is also why you had to add sugar to it, because it didn't taste any good.
Okay.
Because
So they're making some bathtub gin.
Yep.
Okay, just like they were doing in Prohibition. Well, I want to pick this up because I just learned, I thought these were miniature blueberries, but they're juniper berries. I don't know. Y'all can get this here. They're like really, really small. Oh, try one? Okay. Like a little pebble. Tastes like gin.
right?
Tastes like gin.
Without the hangover.
Without the hangover, which, funny story, the first time I had gin, I was underage. I was 18.
All right.
I drank a pint of Tanqueray,
Oh, really?
and that was the last time I drank gin for 15 years. And I hated gin because I was like, it tasted terrible, all of that. Now I love gin. 15 years after the fact. What can we do to get people hip to the gin and want to drink that?
There's a lot of people that are doing really great things with gin. Gin World has been coming to DC for at least a couple of years now, and has been doing gin events throughout the whole week. I mean, the Gin Rickey is DC's official cocktail.
I'm glad you brought that up. So let's talk about that. So a lot of people, because once I found that, I've been telling everybody, I was like, man, DC got its own cocktail, the Gin Rickey. Yep. And we have Rickey Week, Rickey Month, all of that, and it's contests that restaurants and bars participate in, make their variation of a Rickey. Yeah. It's dope. I really think that the Gin Rickey should be celebrated more. So it's just even getting that knowledge out there to let people know, like, look, it's a light, refreshing drink. I got my mother drinking Gin Rickeys.
I think that people, with the rising cocktail culture, people are starting to be less afraid of certain things that they think that they didn't like before, and people are starting to become more open-minded.
Right. So just walking people through that process, to get them through the initial intimidation and whatnot, because people get comfortable. I'll admit, because I started out drinking vodka, I don't drink it as much as I used to, but when I do, I like a nice sipping vodka. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Barr Hill vodka.
Our vodka is distilled entirely from honey.
So it's still gluten-free.
We only distill it twice. First, it goes through the pot still, and then it goes through a column still, and so you get all of that coniferous quality still.
What's a good approachable vodka drink?
I actually really like vodka in an aviation. Technically, an aviation is supposed to be made with gin, but I actually really like it with the vodka because I think that the violet really comes through much nicer.
Let's start with name the last amazing album you heard.
Shadowbox from Beats Antique.
Craziest Uber or Lyft experience?
Actually, probably the craziest one was when I got in one and I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize that you were just driving. And he said, no, no, get in, because there was someone in the passenger seat. And I was like, oh, but it says that, but she's driving. It says that you're the one driving. He goes, oh, no, don't worry, I'm teaching her how to drive. Wait, no, this is not driver's ed. Like.
So did you stay in the car?
No.
Okay.
No, we got out. No, we absolutely.
I would have stayed just to see what would happen.
No? I am not about playing with my life like that.
Well, Amy, we have reached the end of the show.
Okay.
Appreciate you again for coming on. Tell people where they can find you, Barr Hill Gin, find you in real life, wherever.
People can find me, so I bartend at Red Hen.
Okay.
People can find me on Instagram at Dunki Drinks.
And just to be clear, that's the Red Hen that was not a part of the controversy with, what's her name?
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders. This is the Red Hen in D.C., not Virginia.
Yeah.
She's there. And we can find Barr Hill Gin.
Yeah. You can find Barr Hill Gin at most liquor stores in DC, and throwing it back to what you were saying earlier about having people drink more gin, we're also doing a Bees Knees week the last week of September. So all around the city you're going to be seeing Bees Knees variations like Don't Kill My Buzz at bars all around the city. And all of the proceeds from that are going to go to the Bee Cause, which works to put observational beehives in schools. So everything we raise here in DC is going to go directly into DC schools.
Good. Yes, education is very important.
Yes.
All right, well, Amy, thank you again. I appreciate your time, appreciate the conversation, and we're done.